Okay, in this section we'll be going over the differences between a change in demand and change in quantity demanded. Now please pay attention, because I found in my experience this is the area, the section of learning about supply and demand, that students have the most difficult time understanding this concept. Okay, so a change in quantity demanded is also called the price effect. And so what it is, it's the effect price has on the quantity demanded. So as the price rises or falls, you are moving along points on the demand curve. Like we talked about, you're just moving from one collection or one set of points to another set of points. So only when a change in price causes the corresponding change in quantity do you have a change in quantity demanded. So if price is the catalyst, that is going to be the thing causing a change in quantity demanded. So movement along a demand curve versus a shift of the curve, or a change in demand. A change in price, other things constant, causes movement along a demand curve, changing the quantity demanded. A change in one of the determinants of demand, other than price, causes a shift of the demand curve, which then changes demand. So quantity demanded. If price is the catalyst, you are selecting another pair of coordinates among a set of coordinates. A change in price does not shift demand. It causes movement along a demand curve. A change in demand, for the demand to change, the entire demand curve must move. Another set of coordinates must be graphed. An increase in demand means the demand curve is shifted to the right. A decrease in demand means the demand curve is shifted to the left. So to cause a change in demand, something has happened to cause buyers to demand more or less of a product, regardless of price. Buyers are willing and able to buy more or less at each and every price. So looking at the animation, you'll see as you move from demand 1 to demand 2, you see the curve is shifted out to the right. That shows an increase in demand. A decrease in the market demand for pizza, you would see the curve shift to the left. So looking at this animation here, we've got a demand and supply schedule. We've got price in the first column, quantity supplied in the second column. The first demand is in the third column, and the fourth column shows the second demand, where you have an increase in demand. And you can see buyers are buying more at each and every price. So at $1, before they would have bought 80, but now something has happened. Now they'll buy 95. At $3 before, they would have bought 35 quantity. Now something has happened, and they will buy 60. So an increased demand, as you look at the graph here, increase in demand raises equilibrium quantity and price. So as you'll see, as the curve shifts out to the right, the price is going up on the vertical axis, and the quantity is going out right on the horizontal axis. So a reduction in demand is the opposite, decreases equilibrium price and quantity. So what is going to change demand? Once again, if price is the thing that causes the change, it's a change in quantity demanded. If you have something called a determinant, if something else happens, then you will have a change in demand. So those things are changes in styles, tastes, and habits, changes in income, changes in the number of buyers or the population, changes in expectations, for instance, like a change in the weather or the seasons, prices or availability of complementary goods, or the prices or availability of substitute goods. So there's a mnemonic that you'll see in an animation here. These are things that would cause demand to increase or decrease. So T for tastes, I for income, M for many buyers, E for expectations, and R for related goods prices, which are substitutes and complements. So looking through this PowerPoint animation, you'll see here at one time these items had high utility to many people. Once again, utility is the psychological satisfaction you get out of consuming a good or a service. So as you go through these, tell me if you at one point these had really high utility, and now they're not as popular. People don't get as much satisfaction out of it that they do now. So as an example, changing taste, ripped jeans, or changing taste, Cabbage Patch dolls, air pump shoes, the mullet haircut, as you see, also known as the Svelb, which is short in front, long in back, the ape drape, hockey hair, mud flap, the El Camino, or business in the front, party in the back, which is also not to be confused with the rat tail. Also, once again, changing taste. At one point, go-go boots used to, for the people that would buy it, they would get a lot of utility, not as much as it once was. Another example are Pogs, the Furby, Koosh balls, and also Tamagotchis. So as the change of the style, the fad, the trend changes, then the demand will change. People will buy more or less at each and every price. Now, income changes is another determinant. So during periods of recession or depression, which of the following products do you think would suffer significant losses of demand? And ask yourself why. So luxury cars, would the demand increase or decrease if we're in a bad depression where the economy is really bad? Designer sunglasses, would the demand increase or decrease based on the income change? Potatoes, would the demand increase or decrease as people have a lot less money available to them? Cell phones, would cell phone usage and the purchase of cell phones go up or down depending on the fact that the economy is in real bad condition? Makeup and perfume is another example. Jewelry. Now, some of these you might see, it depends on the situation. If it's an engagement ring, people will probably still continue to buy engagement rings regardless of the economy, but they may not be buying all kinds of other types of jewelry. Another determinant is the number or how many buyers there are out there. So more buyers for a product will increase the demand. So as an example, scientific research says that drinking mega amounts of prune juice will make you lose weight. What will happen to the demand for prune juice once that scientific revelation comes out? Another example for many buyers is, what if the drinking age was lowered from 21 to 18? With the increase in the number of potential beer consumers, would there be an increase in demand? And then also, would there be an increase in price? Another determinant is expectations. What if you were afraid you were going to lose your job? You were going to get laid off. What would happen to your demand for all goods and services with that expectation that you may be without an income coming up soon? Another example of expectations is, what if you think you're going to get an especially good Christmas bonus, and so you might decide to put in a swimming pool in your backyard? Another example of expectations could deal with prices. You hear prices are going up soon. What will happen if all prices are going to go up? What will happen to your demand for all goods and services today if you know that in the future those prices are going to be more expensive? And then the last determinant is the related goods, which you have substitute goods and complementary goods. Substitute goods, an example of that, demand changes when one product is substituted for another. So the demand for typewriters has dropped significantly since the advent of computers. So how many products can you think of which have lost demand because buyers replaced them with substitutes? So now what's the relationship between the two products there? As an example, the price for chicken goes up. If the price of chicken goes up, what happens to the demand for beef? Now, assuming beef is a substitute for chicken, if the price of chicken goes up, people will buy, the quantity demanded for chicken will go down, but there'll be an increase in demand for beef. Another example, the price for peanut butter goes up. What happens to the demand for jelly? Those are complementary goods, goods that people consume together. Substitute goods are one that is going to be replaced for the other. Complementary goods you consume together. So some examples of complementary goods that I've thought of are beans and cornbread, hot dog and mustard, chitlins and potato salad, corned beef and cabbage, strawberry and shortcake, liver and onions, bagel and lox, red beans and rice, sour cream and biscuits, bread and butter, hot cakes and molasses, and wieners and sauerkraut.